Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Monday, December 9th, 2019, and look, yeah, this is my post-market wrap-up, and I want to put a perspective on a few things. Number one, we all know this. This market is fake. The data is fake. Everything is corrupted from the top down. Now, the Federal Reserve, and you know that I have called the Federal Reserve, if you've been following my work all these years, there is not one other guy on this freaking planet who has called the Federal Reserve better than me. What they're going to do before they're going to do it. I have been wrong once with regard to my calls about what the Fed would do in a decade. One time. That gives me the best record on the planet. Okay. Now, the Federal Reserve, in collusion with our bought and paid for government, is about to embark on something, and for the most part, it's going to be hidden just like it is now. What am I talking about? I explained to you a while back that the Federal Reserve had no choice. They were going to get in here and rig the debt market. Quantitative easing has never stopped, ever. Ever since the announcement that they ended QE, it never ended. Because the Federal Reserve can't just say they're going to keep rates low. They have to get into the market and make it happen. Meaning they have to add digits to a screen in incredible amounts and buy debt with cash created out of thin air. I explained to you that world central banks were about to go nuclear. The Federal Reserve was going to follow suit. That happened. I explained to you that the Federal Reserve was going to go hyper-nuclear. That happened. Now, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen next because it must occur. If what I'm about to tell you does not happen, this market will melt down so hard and so fast, which is the end game, but it's not going to happen now, before Christmas, before the elections. Look, I know some of you don't understand the relationship between politics and the market. You also don't understand, many of you, that there is a one-party system. Look here, don't look here. For example, this impeachment thing, it's never going to happen. The president is never going to be impeached. This is a distraction. Look here while we do this. Keep focusing on the impeachment while our economy is in free fall. While the Federal Reserve pumps the debt market to the tune of trillions of dollars, debt being added on to the backbone of the United States. It's going to snap it at one particular time. The largest debtor nation in the history of the world. Our president, again, there's proof here, has not mentioned one time ever how the Federal Reserve is in here rigging the entire spectrum of the debt market, piling on trillions of dollars in debt. He doesn't talk about it. He can't do it. And the Democratic hopefuls, they don't mention it either. Again, you remember Elizabeth Warren, one time, she was told to shut up. Believe me, our country is not run by presidents. No nation on this earth is run by a king, a queen, or a monarch. It's the central banks that run the entire world. Now, they have an end game. You know what it is. If you've been following this blog, I'll cover it real quick, and it plays right into what the Federal Reserve is about to do. So I explained to you the Federal Reserve is going to go hyper-nuclear, henceforth what they're doing now. We haven't seen anything yet. Believe me. In order for this scheme to keep going, the amount of debt that is going to need to be piled on from right here and now is going to be absolutely beyond belief. And it's the bought and paid for government here in the United States and around the world, it's the same thing, and their central bank that are going to work in concert to make this happen. Imagine if people knew. People don't even know. I talk to people all the time. When I explain to them that the Federal Reserve is in here buying every part of the yield curve, they look at me like I have aliens flying out of my head. They have no idea what I'm talking about because they don't hear about it. The president has never mentioned it. He will not talk about it. Again, the illusion is the economy is booming. Meanwhile, you know it's not. Service sector in free fall. Manufacturing sector in free fall. This is where we are at. A market that is so distorted, so overvalued, has no bearing on reality that without the unbelievable amount of more debt acquisition, on a scale that we can't even believe, that's it. It's over. It's going to end anyway. And all this is doing is assuring the end. The end is a very rapid transfer of wealth from the masses to the 1%, just like it is every single time. All right. We've lost our country. It's over. We've lost the world. If you think there's some kind of battle going on here between whatever government you might think is on your side and the central banks, no, they're all on the same team. We've lost. All right. The only issue is, where do you want to be at one point when this thing does end? And it's going to end. That's the final solution. Is, again, why is the Fed doing what they're doing right now? Why are other world central banks doing what they're doing right now? Why do we have negative rates in other parts of the world? Why here in the United States are people being robbed blind, having an interest earning account that cannot even keep up with the rate of inflation? You understand? It's a game. It's all about allowing the Federal Reserve to issue more debt. The more debt the Fed issues, the stronger they become. The Fed is stronger today than it was yesterday, and it will be stronger tomorrow than it is today. Why? Their product is debt. That's it. They can talk about anything else. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become. It will not be spoken about. The president will not talk about it. No one will tell you these things. But this is how central banking works. Their end game, you know this if you follow this blog, is to issue more debt. They want to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. They want to own the world. Okay, they already own our country. We're the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. Who do we owe this cash to? It's owed back to the Federal Reserve, plus interest that they print out of thin air. Can never be paid back. It's an incredible thing. It's a debt-based economic model for which we have fought wars to establish. The entire Vietnam War was a curse upon the world, okay, to establish the fiat monetary system, the petrodollar, to get us completely off of a gold standard. That was their plan for many, many decades. Now, the Vietnam era was when this really began to happen. Now, again, their end game is at hand, and they need to issue more debt to solidify it. We could end this today. The president really could, honestly, if he would just say, okay, you know what? We're going to stop borrowing. He can't do that. Neither will any of the Democratic hopefuls. They have to borrow more. In unprecedented amounts. That's what the system demands. Now here, with regard to the market, you can expect a lot more cash to be pumped into the debt market, and we haven't seen anything yet. Nothing, like I've been explaining to you since forever. Without it, the market will free fall. It will, again, understand, our economy is in free fall. The stock market continues to rise, although today we had a slight loss, 100 points in the Dow. But economy is falling, markets still very close to all-time highs. There's a gap. This gap will fill. This gap will fill. And when the gap fills, it's going to literally engulf the world. It's going to swallow every member of the middle class here in the United States with it, in its wake. It's going to leave such devastation in its wake, people aren't going to know what to do. Honestly, a worst-case scenario is going to unfold. We all know that. So it's just so simple to understand what to do. Bet against the debt, become your own central bank, like I've been saying forever here. Trade these markets if you have the knowledge to do so. No one makes it easier than I. My website, traderschoice.net, I have everything you need there. Everything. My 1, 2, 3 boom system, couldn't be easier to use. I think it's the most simple trading system on the planet. Right underneath that, stock picks. You want to know what stocks to buy and or sell? They're right there for you. Take advantage of it. Anyway, look, kind of a long video, but I want you to understand that we're about to see something that is going to blow your mind. Sincerely, more debt on the back of our country, like you have no idea. Really, I don't think you even have an idea. Most of you don't have an idea of what's happening right now. Although you see, Fed's involved in QE, okay, they're propping up the market, but what does it mean? What are the longer term ramifications? What is the end game? You know what the end game is. The rulers of this earth are the central banks, period. That's it. Everything else is a game. It's a sitcom. Okay, why do you think they chose an actor, okay, to be president of the United States? Doesn't that make sense to you? It should. With that said, this guy, he's out of here. Love you a lot. See you in the morning.